let's move on to our second team, Michigan. They were in the playoffs last year. You want to start it off?
Yeah, bro. Now that I'm looking at kind of, like I didn't even realize it, taking notes. Like we have, I think probably 4 of the top 5 Heisman contenders in here, or at least 5 or 6 of the top 10.
Yeah.
Like that we're gonna cover today. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, man. I mean, let's start with those 2 gentlemen, J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy, man, I've been so low on him. Just, I guess, all year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Going in, I wasn't too high on him. I was like, yeah, I mean, all he's got to do is kind of this and this. Like, I kind of looked at him as a game manager. There's games where, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's games where he does like shine and go crazy, and then there's games where he just doesn't. And there's always like, even in the games he shines and go crazy, like his best game, would you say was Ohio State last year?
Yeah.
Well over, like almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Even in that game, he threw for 50%.
Yeah.
Like 12 for 24, I think was the exact stat. So, like, he's kind of a hard code to crack in my head. Mm-hmm. I don't know quite what he is. Now, as far as Corum, not a hard code to crack. I mean, he's the best running back in the country, period, end of story. That's returning. Yeah. I mean, honestly, there was a case for the best running back in the country this year. Mm-hmm. But that's returning. I mean, it's not relatively close. He's the best running back in the country and will be. I mean, he's coming off of like a 1,500-yard season. I could easily see him. I mean, you're looking at, I think the highest this year was Bijan or maybe Chase Brown. You're looking at 1,800 yards or so. I think he could easily get to 18, maybe even 2,000 if he stays healthy. I don't think the injury is going to linger. I think he's going to be back ready to go 100% healthy for sure. I mean, dude, him and Donovan Edwards, who we'll get into too. I mean, man, this is another team that can tear you up through the passing game, at least to an extent. But, bro, they will run the ball all over you all day. Mm-hmm. So,
and that's what I was going to say, man. We look at that Ohio State game last year, and Blake Corum didn't even play. It was Donovan Edwards the whole game, and he balled. Late in the fourth quarter, he had 2 big 90-plus yard runs, and I know that made up the bulk of the run game.
Yeah.
But he broke them off.
Yeah, I think it was 80-something and 70. Like, he had like 150 yards in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nuts.
And he kicked, scratched, clawed his way back into that semifinals game. Yeah. I mean, that became a real game in the late third, fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. It looked like a blowout early, and then they just fought back. And that was largely in part to Donovan Edwards. Of course, their defense as well.
Yeah, they stepped up.
But while you were talking about Blake Corum, I was going to say, look, if Blake Corum wasn't on this team, we'd be having this conversation about Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
We'd be saying that he's going to be one of the top 10 running backs in the country.
No doubt.
And so this tandem in their backfield is just absolutely insane. So to go back to what you were saying about J.J. McCarthy, if he can just manage the game, just limit turnovers, let your players make plays, put the ball in the hands of your playmakers on the edges or in the backfield, they're going to have a great offense.
Yeah. And let's get crazy for a second because, and to me, it's not crazy at all. I don't think this is a hot take, but everybody else will. Maybe you will. I think all he needs to do, or I think Stetson Bennett has drawn the recipe for success. If you can do at least what Stetson Bennett does, you can go win a championship, much less back-to-back. I think J.J. McCarthy can be every bit of what Stetson Bennett was this past year.
Wow. See, okay, so I think I'm an outlier here because I think Stetson Bennett gets a little bit less love than he deserves.
Okay.
Because he does put the ball, at least last year, and this isn't a Georgia segment. I don't want to make it about Georgia or Stetson Bennett. But Stetson Bennett has showed in late time ticking down in the fourth quarter, he's going to put the ball in the money to his receivers. Now, granted, he's got ballers at receiver.
For sure.
He had all the playmakers anybody could ask for.
The hell of an O-line.
But he was getting it to him, and if he needed to, he was scrambling.
Right.
Like, he doesn't get nearly the love he deserves, in my opinion. Do I think he ever should have been in the conversation for Heisman? Probably not.
Right.
But he was a solid quarterback.
So, I guess I'll just go on with my point, right? Does J.J. McCarthy, can he do what Stetson did last year, in your opinion? Just take care of the ball, get the ball in the playmaker's hands, have a great running back behind you, get good field position from the defense. I mean, granted, let's be clear, right?
My point is I don't think he has to.
That's what I'm getting into, right? Like, we are talking about a team that went to the playoffs twice in a row.
Yeah.
We're talking about a team that competed with, I really wish that for our sake that didn't happen in the national championship game. Because now I'm having to but just go to the playoffs, play a real hard fought game in the In the semifinals, yeah. My God, I don't know why I couldn't think of it. In the semifinals, like they're going to have the best offensive line in the country, probably. They did the last 2 years. I would assume they have it again.
It'll be top 5.
Yeah, if nothing else. Their defense, top in the country, top 5.
Yeah.
Right? Their running back, the best in the country, period, end of story. And their running back core, even more head and shoulders above everyone else because their backup is that much better than all the other backups.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have everything they need. They have a hell of a receiving core. They got receivers coming in. Like, if he does, like I said, even like what Stetson Bennett does, if he goes and throws 5 picks all year, if he goes and only throws 4 picks all year, whatever it is, and can throw for even 3,000 yards or, somewhere in there, can also, again, because he is not a super mobile guy, but can get it done when he needs to. They can control the game with the defense and run the ball, bro. Like, they're going to do it again. They're going to go right back to the playoffs. I'm not a Michigan fan, but hopefully, bro. I mean, you go 3 times in a row, you got to win a damn game. Yeah. You got to get to the championship.
I'll stay on that point. If J.J. McCarthy has the same season or can produce the same way Stetson Bennett did last year, Michigan will go into the national championship game undefeated.
I think so too.
I don't have a doubt in my mind about that. The question is, can J.J. McCarthy be that guy?
So, I mean, I know for a fact he's got top 5 Heisman odds. I also know for a fact that Blake Corum does too.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at a team that's gone back-to-back against Ohio State that's produced some of the best talent in the country these past 2 years. They haven't been crazy, but they've produced some of the best talent in the country. They produced Heisman finalists. I mean, they've been nuts. Michigan's gone back-to-back against them, won the conference 2 years in a row, going to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Like, this is going to be, and I know you were freaking begging me to just be like, hey, like, this is the better team. Dude, this is going to be the same thing. Mm-hmm. They're going to be better this year than they were last year. How many times can you uptick and get better while still having the same damn result? Like, my God.
Yeah.
Like, they went to the playoffs last year, got bounced. They were. I mean, I'm saying it now. I've said it a couple times later in the year. They were better this year than they were this past year.
You mean they were better last year than they were in 2021?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bounced. And then they're going to be better this year. How many times do you need to marginally get better to where you have the exact same result every year? I mean, it's frustrating. Yeah. Got to be. So, I think, I mean, man, I'm looking at 2 or 3 other teams in the country.
But you
that
also
it might be as good as Michigan.
But you also have to understand too, and I know you do understand this, but you have to vocalize it that there's not much more ceiling once you get to the semifinals.
Right.
Like, how much better can you actually get? Because when you are incrementally getting better, you're already one of the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
And there's a reason they weren't ranked 1.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like TCU was. We had some conversation about did they deserve to be there. Hey, they went and got a win.
Yeah.
And they put it together. Now, they shouldn't have been in the championship game.
My God.
But they had no business being on that field. But
not that field, though.
But the point is, when you get to the college football playoffs, when there's only 4 teams, and this is the last year of that, so it'd be great I think that'd be a really cool story to see them finally go do it in the last season. But that's what I'm getting at is how much better can you actually get? How much better do you actually need to get over that hump? Because once you get there, it's the 4 best teams in the country.
Yeah. Oh, God, dude. I just put something in perspective 4 months later about the playoffs that just pissed me off real bad.
Go ahead and get it out there.
I got to. So, we literally had 4 teams in there. We had the national champions, the best team in the country, undisputed. Well, I mean, Georgia, just head and shoulders. We had a TCU team that we realized shouldn't have been there. And then we had a team that lost to TCU, and we had a team that lost to that team, Michigan. Mm-hmm. I mean, my God. Anyway, that's freaking sad, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, that's what it is, though.
But so that's my thing. Like, I mean, in other words, I'm going to go ahead and make, like, not a crazy, like, cemented prediction, but, like, bro, they're going to win a playoff game this year. I mean, my sights for them, because of how much is returning, is got to be the championship game. It's got to be. I mean, my God, I don't know how many times you more so than me, but I don't know how many times we can say this and them not just go freaking do it, bro.
Yeah.
This is going to be their year. And they know that too. You have a great defense returning, you have a great offensive line returning, and you have your backfield. That's rare. So they got to go do it. But that's my prediction.
I think the biggest threat against Michigan, the one thing that could keep them out of the national championship game is seeing a defensive line and linebacker heavy team in the semifinals. And we're not seeing a ton of that in college football anymore.
No.
We're seeing a lot of offense. Well, I mean,
Georgia. Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's it.
So for
And Bama.
I think Michigan's best shot to get into the national championship, which I think they will, is they've got to be 1 or 2 going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because Georgia won't be 3 or 4, in my opinion.
Or they got to play Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to get into it, but that's the problem. Georgia's going to be number 1. Whoever comes out of the SEC undefeated, which is
Georgia will be 1, 2, 3. They will be 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
They won't be 4, in my opinion, unless they somehow unless they have an undefeated season and lose the SEC championship.
My very, very to me easy prediction is that one of the SEC teams this year will go into the playoffs undefeated, and that team will be number 1. I don't know who.
And so that's kind of what I'm getting at. I just didn't say it in those exact words. Yeah. If Michigan does not face an SEC team in the semifinals, I think they're in.
Yeah, I think so to furthermore, and I think you agree, they need to be number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like Michigan doesn't need to get in at number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. And dude, like to me, right, that might be Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the way it like ends up
or
panning
USC
out, 99.
Or whoever.
Right. I think they beat both of those teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I can't wait.
Thanks for watching that clip. You can check out another in the top left-hand corner or the bottom right-hand corner. You can always subscribe as well to this channel or to Cards and Culture. That's linked as well. That's going to be our long-form content.
Yeah, make sure to check out the Discord in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, and we can keep this thing free forever.